Ah! Rip. Oh my god, I forgot to turn on the mic. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Awesome, guys, awesome. Everything's great. Everything's perfect. We run a masterfully professional show here, and by we I mean just me, because I'm by myself. I don't have any helpers here. But yes, rest in peace, headphone users. That's what you get for watching videos using headphones. Oh man, I just, anyways, oh shoot, this has gone so swimmingly well all of a sudden for an impromptu live stream. But anyways, so yeah, this is my, oh my god, this is my video, my discussion video. That just shows the power of the dark side of my voice. Your ears will burst with the power of my cries. Anyways, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so anyways, yesterday I watched the Last Jedi. And I thought I would let it percolate in my brain for a little bit. Check out some other people's thoughts and things like that. Try to get an idea of what other people were thinking to see how it sort of gels with what I thought, what I think anyways. And so, so The Last Jedi. Also, spoilers, if you haven't read in the wonderful title, spoilers, because I'm going to be talking about just everything, basically, that happens or doesn't happen in this movie, and my thoughts on it. And so, let's get into it. Star Wars Episode VIII, The Last Jedi, otherwise known as the last Star Wars movie, because it is over. It's over. Star Wars is over. Star Wars is done. I don't know what they can do for Episode 9, because it seems like everything that was interesting coming out of The Force Awakens has literally been destroyed by The Last Jedi. So let's start with my basic thoughts. First of all, I did enjoy the movie. I was entertained by the movie. I thought it was a little long. That's not a good thing. Usually by the end of a Star Wars movie, I get a little bit annoyed because I want more, and I wish it wasn't ending. This is probably the first Star Wars movie where when the end happened, I was like, oh, thank God it's over. That's not a good thing. But it's I don't know. It felt long. It felt unnecessary. Like the whole thing that happened on the mining planet seemed like it was unnecessary. Like the movie should have ended with the Snoke's ship getting hyperspace blasted by the one rebel ship. That's really what it should have happened. And plus, it's got one of the worst endings in all of the Star Wars saga. I mean, look, the prequels did a lot of things wrong, but they still ended on relatively interesting ways. And this ending felt really, really, really bad. And Dragon Ball Z, why are you depressed again? Are you depressed because the movie was disappointing? I mean, I think you said it was amazing. Or are you depressed because you will feel the power of the dark side? I already feel the power of the dark side. I work for the Empire. No, I don't work for the Empire. No, but I feel the power of the dark side every day. I mean, I am on Twitter, And when you're reading your Twitter feed, you feel the power of the dark side. So, anyways, but yeah, so like I liked the movie. I did. I was entertained, but also I was thoroughly disappointed with the direction it went in. And I can understand the point of view of what's his name? Is it Ryan Johnson? I think the director. I should probably look that up, but whatever. I can see his point of view about it being like a new start, a new beginning, a rebirth of the rebellion. But in a way, does it just become a redo of the old Star Wars movie in that situation? No, Luke's not dead, man. He's one with the Force now. So he's a ghost. And we all know Force ghosts can do things like summon lightning to burn trees and, you know, give expositional talk and say things like, you know, I was telling you the truth from a certain point of view, you know, things like that. And they can be all glowy. And then sometimes they can look old, and sometimes they can look like Hayden Christensen. So he's a Force ghost. I mean, you know, he's ethereal now. But anyways, like, yeah. So let's just get in. So thank you, Dragon Ball Z. So now let me just get right on with it and talk about the whole Luke thing. Well, no. Let me just go back. Let me just go back and just continue my thought about, like, the direction. Like, so I understand that, you know, it's kind of like you have to pass the baton. You have to get the new characters their time to shine. You won't be able to stream for 3 months because of copyright something. Copyright, so what happened? Did someone claim one of your videos? And depending on what the video was, you could counter-notify, but I don't know. It depends on like what you did. I mean, was it like a review, or did you literally just steal something and like showed it on YouTube for some reason? You don't know. It should tell you what the offending. You know, you check your email that's associated with your YouTube account, and it'll tell you what the offending video was. And why? Well, sort of why. Sometimes they'll just give you like this. Anyways. Anyways. But if you don't know, I can't really give you any advice. So anyways, I don't know. If it was like because you were streaming something and there was music in the background, that's a different thing, you know. I think you posted stuff. All right. That's probably not copyright then. That's probably community guidelines. And I'm sorry I missed the stuff. Anyways. But yeah, that's dangerous to do. Anyways. So getting back to what I was saying though. Yeah, I understand the whole thing is like, you know, this is going to be the story of Rey, Finn, Kylo Ren, and the, you know, First Order and the Resistance, now the Rebellion, whatever. I understand all that, and that's all well and good. And, you know, Ryan Johnson, I'm going to call him that until I get corrected, I guess. I don't know. Like, the director and writer, he wants to create, like, a new trilogy with those characters. And I can completely understand that. The thing is, we, as the fans, from the most part, from what I've understood, is wanted, when we heard about The Force Awakens, and we heard about, you know, having Luke back, having Han back, having Leia back, we wanted a whole trilogy with those characters kind of being the central focus. And I think, even despite its flaws, The Force Awakens did a good job of at least utilizing Han Solo in a good way. Even though I dislike the fact that they killed him, I can understand. I can, you know, Harrison Ford probably said, I'm not going to do it unless you kill me, things like that. So I can understand And it was important for Kylo Ren for that situation to happen, yes. But they used him well. He was great in the movie. He was a central character. He drove a lot of the plot, and it was really good. And honestly, it was necessary because Rey was kind of like this. We're not knowing what's going on with her. Finn was really a flat character in this movie, and Kylo Ren, like his introduction as the big bad villain was kind of messed up. And so I'm gonna go back to something that was said in one of the other videos about this by a guy named Ben Shapiro. You might not know who he is, but he did a review of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and he brings up something that's really kind of smart, and that so Kylo Ren's introduction is, first of all, it was kind of badass, but then they ruined it. So what happens is, you know, I think it's Poe takes a shot at him with a blaster, and he just turns around, you know, puts out his hand, and he stops the blaster in midair, and it's just sitting there, and like I was like looking at it like, oh my God. And this is like one of the few times, I mean, we've seen it, like, you know, Darth Vader, you know, we would be honored if you join us. And he gets shot, and he kind of absorbs it with his hand in a way from Han Solo back in Bespin. But, you know, we haven't seen something like this, so we're like, oh my God, this guy's kind of a badass. And he goes and he offs this wise old guy played by Max von Sydow. And we're like, okay, this guy, yep, this guy could be like the next Vader. All right, I'm all for it. And then there's the talk with Poe, and Poe is like, so should I talk? You talk? We talk? Who talks? You know. And at that point, after that, Kylo Ren is portrayed as like petulant, not in control of his emotions. He's like a child. I mean, he has a temper tantrum. He's like the worst aspects of hating Christians in some of those scenes, and it ruins. It's like you needed Snoke to be the big bad supreme leader, because here's this guy who is like deeply flawed. And honestly, I do like Kylo Ren's character as a character. I don't like him as the big bad guy because I find him way too sympathetic to be the main villain, because you see all the conflict in him, and he is completely and super conflicted. And it would be a travesty if in Episode 9 he doesn't get his redemption, because like and so as I was saying, so we compare the way that he was introduced and how he was in the first movie that he was in, The Force Awakens, where he's a little bit bumbling. I mean, he gets his ass handed to him by Rey, who just picked up a lightsaber. So here's this guy. He's the most powerful Force user ever seen, or whatever, raw power. And he's trained under Luke Skywalker. He's trained under Snoke. And, you know, he's some badass, and he gets his ass handed to him by Rey, who just picks up a lightsaber like 20 seconds ago. And he's kind of, you know, he's kind of like a bit of a crybaby in a way. And he doesn't project this awesome presence ever. He doesn't. There's like no fear in there. You contrast it the way Darth Vader is. Darth Vader, in the opening of A New Hope, he goes in through the doors. He's like, there's dead rebels all over. He's just kind of like looking like, yeah, good job, guys. Goes up, he fucking just chokes a guy. He chokes him out, tosses him across the room. He's like, you know, if this is a consulate ship, where is the ambassador? Bring me everyone else, and I want them alive. Well, except that guy, because I just killed his ass. Anyways, he's like, you know, you're like, whoa, this guy is a freaking badass. And, you know, throughout the movie, he tortures Leia. He chokes his own fellow Empire people. He's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. I mean, he fucking offs Obi-Wan Kenobi, even though that was Obi-Wan Kenobi's design. You know, he's like shooting X-Wing and A-Wing and Y-Wing fighters out of the air in his TIE fighter. He's just fucking doing everything. And, you know, he's about to, like, destroy Luke. And, of course, you know, Millennium Falcon out of nowhere. And, you know, he's got to come back out. And then you get Empire Strikes Back, where he's literally killing his commanding officers for you know, it's like, you failed me for the last time. You know, and he's doing all this just like he is like the badass evil mofo. and at the end of Empire is the only time you ever really get the idea that he's got a little bit of a conflict. You know, you find out that Luke is his son, then you kind of understand why, you know, when he was talking to the Emperor, he was like, well, perhaps he could be turned. You start to see the cracks, but you have like a movie and 3/4 of a movie where this guy is the evil badass. I mean, he is like manhandling Luke. He's like toying with him during the lightsaber battle. It is ridiculous. It is awesome. He is completely badass. At no time do you think this guy could be beatable. But in in Star Wars The Force Awakens, your first real battle, Kylo Ren gets his butt handed to him. And it is one of those most deflating moments of what he could have been as a villain, because it's just now all of a sudden he's not the badass we all think he could be. He can't be Darth Vader anymore, because Darth Vader was pretty much unstoppable. He was technically unstoppable up until, you know, Return of the Jedi, and only because Luke was channeling part of the dark side to kind of beat him. And then, but in the end, still Darth Vader he picks up the Emperor and tosses his ass down the shaft, because he's still this super badass guy. Even in the prequels, he is like practically undefeatable in most situations. Yes, I mean, when he was going against Dooku, he was still sort of a learner. So, I mean, but he was still able to kind of handle himself against, you know, a bona fide Jedi Master turned Sith Lord. So you have the sort of the ruining of Kylo Ren as the big villain. No, he's still a good character and a sympathetic character and a character that you're rooting for the good to win out. And so you get to that scene on Snoke's ship in the kind of the throne room, where you've got him teaming up with Rey, and it is awesome. It is magnificent. That is the best part of the entire movie, right there. The best part of the entire movie, where they're taking on the sort of the Imperial Guard, and they are just battling on, and they're like side by side, helping each other out. That is the greatest moment, and honestly, that is when the movie probably should have ended. The movie should have ended on the cliffhanger of, you know, join me and we can, you know, rule the galaxy together. We can bring order to the galaxy. You know, Snoke is dead. Who cares about the rebellion? Who cares about the First Order? You and me, we're a good team. We together, we can do this. We can actually rule. And it wasn't like a dark side rule or a light side rule. You could have had it be up in the air. It's like, you know, because the two joined forces and were going after the same goal. And it could have been a situation where They could have, you know, Rey kind of like, you know, lifts her hand up. You think maybe she's going to reach out and she's going to grab his hand, and then whoosh, go to the stars and that would have been a great ending. That would have been a great ending. We would have been like, oh my gosh, that was like on a cliffhanger. What are we going to do? We're going to spend the next couple years thinking, okay, what's Rey going to do? Is Rey going to join with Kylo? Is Kylo actually good now? Or is Kylo going to slip back? You know, there could have been all this awesome stuff that happened. And yet, no, then we get the whole afterwards thing on the planet. And to me, like, still, like, even at the end, you've got Kylo Ren utterly defeated. You know, he picks up the dice from the Falcon, memento of his father, and you know, you feel his brokenness, and you feel his conflict. I mean, you know, he killed his father, and honestly, I think oh, Jim the Thug. Unfortunately, Jim, this stream is not about the would you rather at this point. It's basically a discussion about the Last Jedi, and my thoughts on it, and whoever wants to comment thoughts on that. So I'm sorry if I'm going to disappoint you with this one, but I mean, I gotta. I gotta pause on that kind of off-topic stuff at the moment. I'm sorry. I don't want to get this off the rails because I really need to focus on this. So I'm sorry, Jim. But if you've seen the movie, go ahead and leave a comment. Give me your thoughts. Give me any questions that you would want to ask me about what I thought about a certain part of the movie or anything overall. But I just want to keep this on point, I guess. So I'm sorry about, you know, not answering that question, even though the question itself is pretty so, but So getting back, so I do like the character of Kylo Ren. I just don't buy him as the villain to be feared. I mean, yes, he's done monstrous things, but he's like the guy who does these things because he's trying to prove to himself that he's the monster. But in fact, he's not completely buying it. Like, he knew he had to kill his father because he knew that. He thought, for instance, he thought that doing so would release him from the conflict with him. Like, you know, if he could do this, if he could step up and kill his father, bury the past, as he were to say, that he would be released from it, and he could be totally go into the dark side. And the problem was, it didn't work. It didn't happen. When it came time to kill his mother, he couldn't pull the trigger. He took his hands off the weaponry, and he couldn't take the shot. And you know, the whole thing is interactions with Rey. Why he turned against Snoke is because, you know, he has this turmoil within him, and he wants to be the bad, but he can't bring himself to do the things that are necessary for him to be the bad, like allow Snoke to kill Rey or take the shot and kill his mother. He can't allow himself to do that. He can't do that. And so in the end, he ends up being not as frightening of a character as the original Darth Vader, and in the end, we need someone who is the pure evil, and that's kind of like why the Emperor stepped in in Return of the Jedi, because we needed to have no, das Bild ist gekult von uns. I don't understand. I don't know. Das Bild ist geklaut von uns. That is a language that I am not familiar with. I am sorry. Again, I could try to put this into Google Translate and see what happens. So let's go to translate, paste. No, the picture is stolen from us. No, the picture is stolen from us. The picture is stolen from us. I'm confused as what picture, which picture is okay, not bad. Oh man. So we got this this going on here now. My buddy anime is tastic. I mean, I'm okay. I'm a little confused. Like, so your friend's anime is fantastic. I don't know. I mean, are you talking about like this picture? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that language barrier. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're getting at. Marius Barth. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're getting on about. So it's a little weird, a little awkward, little awkward, little uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Yes. Not too up on my German. I nein sprachen Sie Deutsch. I don't speak the it seems like movies these days want a reliable villain, someone with a sad backstory that you can feel for. Villains that are pure evil are harder to find as time goes on. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, relatable villains, like, there've always been villains in movies that are relatable in certain ways. There are always, those films, even, not even recently, where you had the villain who were motivated by, you know, something that you're like, oh, you feel bad for them, but they're doing things the wrong way. And okay, so it's okay. Okay, I'm not sure. So the thing is, you still like, because like in this type of movie, like these space operas. I mean, this is Star Wars. It's a space opera. It's kind of a melodrama in a way, somewhat based on George Lucas's love of the old serials, like you know, those, you know, kind of what happened with like Indiana Jones. You want, like, you want these good and evil battles to be kind of black and white and not as much gray. But there's always been gray in movies. I mean, this isn't something new. But what I'm saying is, in a sense like this, the amount of villainy, you really do need the hardcore Dark Lord bastard to really be like this sort of foil for the good. I mean, because let's face it, when we're contrasting Rey and Kylo, Rey is pretty much a goody two shoes. I mean, she hasn't really done anything that you could sense. I mean, okay, she disobeyed her master and went into the dark side place, but we all know everyone goes to the dark side place. I mean, you know, that's the whole point. Is the dark side supposed to show you something bad and, you know, make you screw up or whatever, or make you fall, make you doubt yourself, and things like that. So, but in the end, like, Rey hasn't really done anything. Like, she hasn't really shown any kind of like bad, you know, like, she hasn't literally looked like she was just like killing people for killing people's sake. She's always had this idea of, you know, of these good, doing these good things, even if she, you know, didn't necessarily want to be a part of this at the beginning. I mean, in fact, like you could say that Finn's character is more of the good guy who's sort of like in the gray area, because he's kind of self-centered. He's kind of trying to get away from things. He's mostly interested in what he's interested. So in like the first one, he's just interested in getting out of like the First Order and getting away from the battle and getting away from everything. And he just wants to be, you know, done with it all, and just wants to live a private life and not be involved. And the chances he gets, he wants to just go and get out of here. And then in the Last Jedi, he just wants to find Rey and then get the hell out of there and don't deal with anything else. You know, his whole motivation is, you know, I need to do what I want to do, and I want Rey and I want to be safe, so I want to get out of here and go, you know, do that stuff. And actually, I think his character was probably the one that grew the most, and I actually began liking a lot more, because in this movie he grew and realized that, you know, you can't just think about what you want and just run away, that there are people that are relying on him right now, and he needs to step up. And the thing is, and this goes to another moment that was just a dropping the ball moment, is toward the end when they have the battering ram gun thing and it's powering up, and he is just blasting his way towards it on the suicide run to destroy it. And he's just hell-bent on basically sacrificing himself to save, you know, the rest of the rebels, to take out the gun so that they can stay behind the Iron Curtain until the the rest of the people, the other people in the Outer Rim, can come to their aid. And so, you know, he's doing this heroic, selfless act. He is doing exactly what the cheesiest line in the world that happens after this moment. So what happens is Rose comes in, basically could have killed them both, like just by ramming into him, trying to knock him out of the way. I mean, literally, those rust bucket things were just falling apart. And they could have easily both ended up splattered across the salt lands. And it would have been like all for nothing. And by the way, like that blast from the cannon was like the most anticlimactic. I was expecting that door to just be obliterated. Like half that mountain just explode. And yet it just put a filthy little itty bitty hole in there. I'm like going, wait, that was it? That was the thing that they were afraid of? It's not like you can't get your blasters focused on that small little hole and just light it up. Anything that comes through dies. I mean, I don't get it. To me, that I find that to be a little bit ridiculous. But so she knocks him out, and then she's like, it's like, you know, we can't, you know, save them by killing those we hate. We have to save them by protecting the ones we love. And I'm like, that's what he was doing. He was trying to protect the ones that he loved by sacrificing himself, by taking out the weapon, making sure that the door stays shut, that they can't come in. And what happens? What happens? Whatever, you know. Oh, I'm going to say, because I love you, even though, you know, come on, you got no chance, because he's all about that Rey. He's all about Rey. You know that. I mean, you know, Rose, she's cute. I mean, she's cute. I'm just saying, but, man, he's all about Rey. We know he's all about Rey. So sorry, Rose. You're gonna lose that battle. But, it's just, and it's like I watch it and I go, oh my God, no. I mean, it would have been fitting. It would have been fitting. Finn sacrifices himself, stops them. The reinforcements arrive. The First Order has to evacuate. They're outnumbered now. They've got to get out. Their fleet has been decimated, you know, and it's like, you know, and then you can end the story. And it would have been like, okay, then fine. That's okay. I can get that ending. Fine. But no, what do? You crash into him. You come up with this super cheesy line about, you know, saving the people you love, which was exactly what he was trying to do. So your point is, like, screw those people. I love you. So I'm saving you, and oh well, I guess they're all gonna die, and we're gonna die. And I still am amazed that they let them get, you know, they're like way far away from the door, but yet Finn can drag her ass all the way back in without getting, you know, blasted. But I mean, I guess the whole Luke Skywalker thing happened, but whatever. But yeah, that's another thing that I want to get a point about. It's like, so going back to how, like, in The Force Awakens, they utilized Han Solo effectively. And one of the things that fans, what I get from what I've heard, from what I've read, from what I myself feel, what my friends feel, is that we wanted to see Luke. We wanted to see Luke come back, and we wanted to see Luke come at badass, the strongest Jedi of all time, and we almost had a moment of that until it was just, you know, smoke and mirrors. But I mean, it was going to be a great moment until they destroyed the moment. The moment where, you know, Luke Skywalker comes out, and there's all the big, you know, New Order AT-ATs, whatever they want to be called now, and they're all like, Kylo's like, I want every gun we have to shoot at that person now. And they're like shooting and just blowing the shit out of the ground. There's this just gigantic crater. And like, what's his name? Oh, I can't even remember his name. Whatever. Anyways, he's like, you think you got him? You think you got him? Stop firing. This is ridiculous. And then after the smoke clears, you know, there's Luke. He's like stepping up, and he's kind of like, And you just, you're like, oh my God, this was awesome. And then we find out that he's just a force projection, which, I mean, it was kind of cool that, you know, he was basically bad-mouthing and toying with Kylo Ren, where he's like, see you around, kid. I thought, like, oh, that's so great and that's so awesome. Except the fact that, like, he still didn't technically do anything super badass. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the trailers again, but the way they cut things in trailers, they can make it look like, you know, something's going on. Like, for instance, in one of the Force Awakens trailers, they have that flashback of the temple burning, and then they cut to a scene where Phasma's walking out into fire. By the way, Phasma walking out of fire with a bunch of troops seems to be like the only thing that she can adequately do in these movies. And so it made it look like, you know, Captain Phasma led this raid against, like, the Jedi Temple, when that's exactly not what happened. So you got to be careful. Like, they could have had a scene of Luke and maybe, like, had a lightsaber and then cut to, like, you know, some of the close-up fight lightsaber scenes of what was going on with other characters, and then just make it look like Luke Skywalker was fighting. But yes, I think everyone was waiting for Luke Skywalker to show up and be Luke Skywalker, and instead we got this broken man. I mean, and I can understand the character, why they would say that he is that way, and he's thinking that the Jedi might end. And honestly, like, you know, some of the things he says are things that I've said for a long time about the Jedi Order, that they are a bunch of hypocrites, that they, you know, they think that they are the grand arbiters of the Force. I mean, they are literally the flip side of the coin of Sith and Jedi. You know, they both think they own the Force and they know best about how to use the Force, and they also both think they know how best to run the show. You know, and yeah, it's like, I think, and that, I think, is part of the big backlash that there is. I mean, when you look at, like, the Rotten Tomatoes score, the audience score, the IMDb scores, they're like it's almost like 50%, like 54, 55, 56% on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience score, and then IMDb is like kind of like in that 7 range, which for them is kind of like not the greatest, because you'll have like the super acolyte people will always give it a 10-10 no matter what and kind of throw the score off. But the fact that you get those people, and that usually pushes things around the 8 to 9 range, but you must get a lot, there must be a lot of bad 0 scores, or I guess, I don't know, you can do a 0 score. No, you can't. One out of 10 scores to, like, bring that down. So there is a lot of division in there, because I think there was, like, a lot of people who went and said, like, we want to see Luke. We want to see Luke not as, like, this old misery, crotchety guy who's a loser, basically, who has lost all hope. You know, he lost all hope. He's broken, and now he wants to die. And it's sad. And the thing is, like, you know, and then the point where he comes back and decides that, okay, fine, it's time to go back into the fight. What does he do? He just projects himself. He doesn't actually show up. He doesn't actually show up and fight and hand Kylo his ass, because we all know Kylo's ass would have been handed to him. Because, I mean, obviously he was bested by Rey, who was ultra novice when it came to lightsaber. And so what was going to happen then is he fades into nothing. He becomes one with the Force, and I'm like hoping against all hope. Like, as I'm like watching it, and he gets like, you know, stabbed with the lightsaber, and it's like, oh, he's a hologram, or he's a Force projection. I'm like, okay, well, cool. And when he gives the joke about see you around, kid, I'm like, sweet. Okay, so in Episode 9, Luke's gonna be like, you know, taking names and kicking ass. He's going to be kicking ass and chewing bubblegum, and he'll be all out of bubblegum. And then he's just like, he goes out. Like, that. He died, and I was like, and I'm like watching, and I'm like, oh, okay, don't have him die. You know, when he looks like he's tired, like, don't have him die. And when he's sitting on there, he's looking into the sunset. I'm like, okay, he's not dying. He's not gonna die. He's not dead. Thank goodness. We haven't wasted Luke's character. We haven't ruined the entirety of Star Wars yet. And then he poofs. At that moment, I'm like, oh. There's nothing left for me to like really want. I mean, it was a disaster. That moment was a disaster. He's gone, and all their hopes and wants for what the new Star Wars was going to be, since they announced Episode VII and said that like the original cast was going to be in it, everything that we were hoping for as a fan base, everything I was hoping for as a fan base, as a fan, a lot of the people that I know, a lot of the people that I've heard and read, what we wanted, what we were hoping for was destroyed, was crushed, was killed, was taken and just raw. Because we wanted to go back with those characters and live with those characters again. One last heroic hurrah. And what happens? Han dies like a bitch. Standing there. No, not even a defense. Trying to save his son, yes. But ultimately just falling into the endless pit that exists in every Star Wars film. And then Luke, yeah, okay, he bought them time so that Rey could help them escape. But in the end, it's still... What did he die for? It almost felt like they tacked that portion on. I mean, like from what I've read, like maybe even Mark Hamill himself didn't even know that he was going to get turned into an empty robe. I mean, there's that picture of him after, that video of him after the premiere. It's like apparently the first time he saw the final cut. And he's with the director, and the director's all like happy and answering questions. And he looks like he got hit by a truck. And he's looking like he's like, what the hell happened? How did I go from being Luke Skywalker, the most powerful Jedi in the universe, to this? And it's infuriating, and it's angry. And yes, I understand, you know, we need to let go of those old characters and let the new ones, but that could be done in a different trilogy. In fact, it sours everything. That the fact that they've wasted these characters, and it's ironic. It is ironic, and it's sad. But it is also ironic because, you know, the only original character, I mean, besides Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2, but of the main three, the only one to survive the movie is the one that's actually dead in real life, and that's Leia, and which also makes you wonder what they're going to do about Leia. What's going to happen? I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they missed a great opportunity to make an excellent, awesome movie. In the end, maybe we could hope Leia could be our saving grace of the next movie. Get her in that slave outfit again. Actually, I don't think it would be quite the same. Well, I mean, well, yeah, like she's yeah. I mean, I don't like it. Plus, you know, with her age now, I mean, I'm sure there's people who are into the gilfs, but I couldn't. Now, Slave Rey, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there was so much in like the extended universe that could have been done for 7, 8, 9. There's so much things about, you know, marriage aid, things like that, the Han Solo and Leia having a son and a daughter, and who knows, maybe the daughter thing might still pop up, but I don't know. It's just so. It seems like the ending of The Last Jedi was like a balloon deflating, and that what we're left with is this floppy, unfun, no air-filled balloon. And look, the movie by itself, like I said before at the beginning, it's entertaining. I enjoyed a lot of the movie. I'm just disappointed with how the direction they went with the characters, how they ended. I mean, like, look, I like that they actually had character growth when it came to Finn. Poe Dameron's character, he grows. However, the way they make him grow is completely stupid. And let's get to this next part. And that whole sequence where Finn and Rose go to the casino planet is absolutely garbage. That whole thing was garbage. And the only thing that I could have thought that would have saved it is if the person gambling, the code breaker, whatever, this master scoundrel would have been Lando Calrissian. If that was the case, I would have been like, oh my God, Lando! Lando saved the day. It would have been great. Instead, it was all there just to teach Poe to listen to orders and not question them, even though the general purple hair is the worst freaking general in the world, because here you are, you know you've got this rogue guy, you know you've got this impulsive guy who is gung-ho and goes running in, charging, firing. You know you've got this guy who's a problem. Tell him this plan! Tell him the plan! You know he's gonna do shit if you don't! Well, see, and that's the thing is, like, I thought maybe that he was the hacker, but he lost the lapel and other things. Gambling against that guy. I was thinking they were going to say something about how that was. Maybe it's not the same guy. I don't know. But I sort of had this vision because it didn't seem like that guy with the flower lapel pin. Didn't seem like a hacker dude. Codemaster. He seemed kind of very not like that type of character. I don't know. I mean, it was really brief. But no, I was really hoping it was Lando. I was so hoping. But I'm not to say that I did enjoy Benicio del Toro's performance as him. I just didn't like the whole arc. The whole arc seemed like so out of place. And then the whole message behind it, like this pontificating on class warfare. Like, really so heavy-handed. Like, oh, these rich people, look at them. They're so opulent, and they've got these poor farmhands, and they're whipping these animals, and you know, they've profited on the war. You know, they sold weapons to, like, the First Order, which really kind of boggles my mind, because one would think, like, an imperial force like the First Order would have just basically taken over all the weapons factories. They would have, by force, taken all the weapons factories. And in fact, those people would have probably gotten rich not by selling to the First Order, but exclusively selling to the Resistance, now the Rebellion. And we do find out that they were also selling weapons to the Rebellion, which was, like, maybe a little pushback, because maybe they've been watching this and they're like going, okay, you know what, maybe we're a little heavy-handed on this, so let's go back, reshoot this scene with Del Toro where he says, oh, well, but look, they sold to the you rebels too, so, you know, I mean, without them, you would have been fucked, and you wouldn't have been able to fight, because you don't have any shit to fight with, so, hey, these guys are necessary for you to actually even be able to mount a resistance. So I don't know which, because I guess it sort of kills the whole purpose of that whole scene and its heavy-handedness at that point. But like the whole, like, oh, you know, like we fit, like they escape with the animals and they're gonna get caught and they failed the rebellion. The resistance is gonna be destroyed, and And he's like, well, you know, we broke a lot of their buildings and made their life a little bit less convenient for like a couple minutes. So I guess it was worth it. And then, you know, she takes the saddle off the whatever the hell that thing was. And she goes, now it was worth it. Yep, the rebellion's dead. All your friends are dead. You're going to be arrested. Probably locked up forever. Those things are going to get caught and put back into the barns. Because, I mean, you know, it's not like they don't know where they are. It's not like they can escape the planet. And so, yeah, it was all worth it in the end because we wrecked the party for about 30 minutes. Oh, it was so stupid. So dumb. Oh, and as I'm watching this, I'm just going like, oh, this is so dumb. This is so stupid. But also what's interesting is like those rich people in that place, like I looked in, I saw the aliens, the people, the humanoids, and let me tell you something. That place was a lot more diverse than the Rebel compound was. The Rebel compound was, yeah, like, you know, 99% humanoid. With like a couple thrown in, but like there was a lot more aliens in that place. So I mean, you know, I don't know. I thought like and the thing is like that whole thing was completely unnecessary. All, you know, just to establish this Rose Finn dynamic, to give something a lesson for Poe to learn. They could have done that such different way and not have this unnecessarily long block that you're hoping that we get to the rest of it. I feel like it goes back to them trying to be morally gray and doing it poorly, saying they sold weapons to the resistance as well. And yeah, I felt like that it was worth it line was awful. I mean, look. I mean, I kind of like Rose's character. I mean, I can feel for her. She's like an engineer. She does the mundane stuff, and she's got a chance to go do some of the action. And she lost her sister, and you know she's trying to come to grips with that. So you know, I do like the base of her character. I just don't like what she does, and I think she's really unnecessary in this entire movie. And I think that whole thing could have been not done, and they could have done something different that was shorter and better. But like in the end, like that whole whatever was completely unnecessary. And all it was there to do was to create that sort of emotional thing. Yeah, it was nice talking to you, True Gamer King. Like real quick before you leave, did you like the movie overall, or did you think it was a bad movie? Or did you think it was an alright movie? It was a good movie, but you were disappointed, or you actually liked the direction it was going? I mean, I just wondering what your opinion is overall. You know, besides these points, like for instance, I thought it was an entertaining movie, probably, you know, good but disappointing. I don't know, like, I mean, unless you don't have the time to answer that, you don't have to. But I'd say I didn't like it for the most part. A lot that I watched made me really upset while watching it. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. You know, when I'm watching a movie, and you probably know this by watching my reviews, I try real hard to give movies a fair shake. I really do. I really try to go in there completely believing in the movie, ready to like just go and like it. So that's why, you know, there's some movies that are kind of cheesy, kind of on the edge, that I can still enjoy because I'm looking for stuff to enjoy. I'm actively looking for stuff to like hold on to and love. And in this movie, there's moments that I really do love, but there's just so much disappointment there. So yeah, I get what you're talking about, and I can see why people are as angry as they are, because I was getting kind of angry seeing the things that unfolding before me. But I was going to be like, I'm going to wait till the end. I'm going to wait till the end. I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to, the movies can, like, a movie can have an ending that redeems itself so much. And unfortunately, this one did not have it. So, but you have a good day. You have a good evening. Have a good weekend. And Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year if I don't see or talk to you again till then. But nice chatting with you. So, but yeah, so getting back, so yeah, all the general had to do, the general, the admiral, whatever, purple hair, all she had to do was tell, thank you, have a good one, all she had to do was tell Poe that, look, we're buying some time till we can get close enough to this mining colony, this mining planet, and we're gonna stealth our ships, and we're gonna escape that way. And it was gonna work. It was gonna work, but it didn't work because you did not tell Poe. You thought it was best to hide that information from someone. So what does he do? He goes out. He finds out that there's a way to to disable the tracker. They go on this harebrained side mission. Hello, Grant. Hello. How's it going? So they go on this side mission and end up getting captured by the Empire. The Empire finds out that they're gonna have these cloaked transports leaving the main rebel ship and going to this planet, and so they doomed them. The whole plan fell apart because she could not be wise enough to share this information with someone that she knew was volatile, who may take things into his own hands. I mean, at the point where he turns the guns and says that, we're doing the mutiny thing, she should have said, look, we had a plan. This is the plan. But you didn't say anything. You made it look like you had zero plan. So what do you think? A guy who's desperate to live, desperate for the rebellion to continue on, is going to do something desperate. And for you to not see that shows that you're a bad admiral. Shows that you should have never gotten that position. And shows that you didn't deserve the trust of the people around you. It was a blatant error, and it was bad. It was just bad. And the praise that some of the feminists give this woman, like, she showed Poe that she was the smartest person in the room. No, she showed Poe that she was stupid. I'm trying to keep the cussing down a little bit, but man, she showed that she was a moron. She showed that she was a moron. The biggest blunder of all, right there. Of the rebellion, the biggest blunder. Talk about not understanding the characters. But anyways. So getting back, so there's that awful portion of the movie that led to other awful stuff. Like I said before, if they could have just ended it on in Snoke's chambers, or they could have ended it, with Finn sacrificing himself. But instead, they end it on such. And then the thing is, everyone's talking about similarities. The Force Awakens was so very similar to A New Hope, and that this one, the Last Jedi, was going to be very similar to The Empire Strikes Back. And in a way, yes, there's a lot of similarities, but it definitely diverges, and especially the biggest way it diverges is the end. So what did I think about the Snoke part? I thought it was, I like the betrayal. I love the betrayal. I love the fact that Kylo Ren cut him in half. You kind of saw it coming, though. But I loved it. I loved the fact that, you know, Snoke was so arrogant and so thinking that he's won. And then all of a sudden to be like, just, you know, put out like a bitch. Now, is Snoke dead? That guy looks like he's been through some shit. He might have been able to put himself back together. I mean, if Darth Maul can get chopped in half and come back, someone as strong as Snoke probably can. Just saying. Maybe, what's his name? That commander guy. Oh, God, I keep forgetting his name. Maybe he took his remains and he's putting them into some regenerator or something. I don't know. But I like that. Like I said, that's probably the strongest part of the movie is when Snoke is betrayed and Kylo Ren and Rey team up to fight the guards. That was the awesomest part of the movie. That was a great movie. That was a standout Star Wars moment throughout the series. Each movie, even the bad ones, have a standout moment where you're like, yeah, badass. Like, you know, Episode 1, it's the duel of fates between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. That was the standout scene from that movie. It was all awesome. The duel of fates music in the background, just ridiculously awesome. Now I got to think about one from like the Attack of the Clones. Oh gee. To me, Attack of the Clones is probably like the weakest of all the Star Wars movies. What was this standout moment from Attack of the Clones? God, there probably wasn't. Maybe that was the only movie that didn't have a standout moment. No, I mean the Geonosis fight, I think, was probably the standout moment because you have the big arena fight, and then you have the fight with Dooku, and all seemed lost because what's his name? Because Anakin and Obi-Wan were defeated. And then all of a sudden you get Yoda being badass, fighting against Dooku. So yeah, that's the standout moment from there. And of course, you know, the Revenge of the Sith. The standout moment, of course, is the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Like powerful and emotional fight there. That one was ridiculously awesome. And of course, you've got the Death Star trench run, final battle of Yavin in A New Hope. With Empire Strikes Back, you have the battle between Luke and Darth Vader. You know, I am your father. That part stand out. The number one stand out above everything. And then of course in Return of the Jedi, you've got the final battle between Luke and Vader again, and where Vader redeems himself. And then in The Force Awakens, you've got just the golly, the fight at Mos Kanata's place, I think, was like the standout portion, because that was like the most fun in the entire movie, because you have Han Solo being awesome, you have Chewie being awesome. I like Han Solo, like, I like this guy. He's just blowing people away. You know, so in this one, it's that scene in the throne room on the ship. That scene was awesome, and it's a scene that I absolutely love. I love that scene. Other things in this movie that I really liked, I liked the sort of escape battle at the beginning, until they started doing the ridiculous thing to fight the dreadnought, like the bombing run. Like okay, is this part of the galaxy? Does space have gravity at this point in that part of the galaxy, so that the bombs will actually fall, or is it when they? I'm sorry, little hiccup there. Or when they open the bomb bay doors, are they just like hurling them? Are like those treks just like throwing them down towards that? I don't know. Are they being jettisoned? I mean, I can understand the bombings from like the Y-wings, the TIE bombers, because they're like, you know, photon, whatever, plasma things, whatever, ion discharge, and they're being shot down, and that's why they're going down. But I don't know about these things that look like they have to be armed, and then they have to be dropped. But you don't drop things in space. You open it up, you let them loose, and they just kind of stay there. You got to like propel them somehow. So I mean, that part was definitely stupid. But everything leading up to that part was pretty awesome in the beginning there. And another thing also that I kind of thought of was that the movie felt small in scale. Like you had the opening battle, and it felt like a large battle. But then all of a sudden after that, you felt like everything was really small. Like there was not like this epic grandness. Like it was like 4 ships in the Resistance versus like 5 ships in the First Order. As if like that's all that was left. The First Order, we've got 5 ships, and the Resistance is down to its last 4. And it felt, everything at that point felt small. The space battles after that point felt small and insignificant, and it felt like the rest of the universe, the rest of the galaxy, it doesn't matter what's happening here because they're just 2 small groups just doing this little fight in this small remote corner of the galaxy. I don't know. Anyways, that's just that to me it's a minor thing, but yeah, it just, to me, it felt so much smaller in scope than the rest of the movies did. And so I mean, I'm profoundly disappointed. I'm profoundly disappointed by the direction they took, by what they did with the characters. That, you know, killing off Luke Skywalker, it just was a gigantic mistake. They wasted that character. Speaking of wasted characters, Captain Phasma, the new Boba Fett, looks cool, but does literally nothing, and then dies like a bitch. And in fact, she dies twice, or she goes out like a bitch twice now. The first movie, she goes out like a bitch, and we thought she was dead, but she comes back, and we're like, okay, she can redeem herself. And what happens? She goes out like a bitch again. Captain Phasma, I have your pop character. You are awesome and badass looking, but what the hell did they do with your character? They made you so not consequential. Now, maybe she comes back, she lives. That's her secret, is that, you know, she's immortal somehow or something. And in Episode 9, she's actually the big bad. She's going to be the big bad. She is the secret Force user that was manipulating everything from behind the scenes. She was manipulating Snoke. She was manipulating Kylo. And she's the real big bad, which actually would be awesome, JJ. This is my pitch. Captain Phasma is the secret Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord. But she's not Jar Jar Binks. Hello, Skinny Gamer. Hello. Anyways, so Captain Phasma is the secret, badass, evil antagonist of the whole series. Episode 9, she rises, she goes around, she stabs Leia in the face, and that's what finally turns Kylo Ren, oh no, wait, no, I've got to join forces with Rey, but Rey gets critically injured because she can't handle the badassery that is Phasma, Darth Phasma. You know, she's got lightsaber and a blaster, and she's just tossing that thing around, and she's like killing people, like that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with Yondu and the arrow. She's just like, she throws the lightsaber, and it's just like just killing like a whole slew of people, and she comes back to her hand like Thor's hammer. Thump. You know, maybe there's like still like some you know, rebel scum left on there. She's got to kind of like brush it off, shake it off, the damn thing. You know, and then yeah, they definitely have to pool their resources to fight badass Phasma. I mean, I'd tune in for that, but as it is now, I don't know what they're going to do with Episode 9, because you've got the whole, what are you going to do about Leia thing? And then you got, like, is Kylo Ren a strong enough villain to be the villain in Episode 9? Because all that's what we're left with, is we're left with Rey, Kylo, Poe, and Finn. And so we've got one bad guy and a bunch of good guys. Wait, Grant, you do realize that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was a Disney movie. You know that. You know that when you're watching, and by the way, when you're watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and you're watching that scene where literally like 100 people are murdered. 100 people are murdered by Yondu and Rocket. Rocket's just like shooting people left and right, and like Groot, baby Groot, straight up kills someone too. As I was watching that scene, I'm going, damn, this is like violent for a Marvel movie. I mean, this is on-screen murders, like body count rising type of thing. Yeah, sure, it's not overly bloody, and we've got this nice retro song, and it's kind of, you know, comical, so we kind of cuts the impact of the violence, but still in the end you're like, dude, you just killed like 100 people. So, but yeah, that was a Disney one. That's Disney, and so you know Disney can do that. You know Disney can do that. Whether they will or not, I don't know. But we need, whether it's the return of Snoke, whether it's the return of the Emperor, there's been so much that was disappointing left off, and so many things that like were questions from Episode 7 that Episode 8 basically went, well, you shouldn't have been questioning those things because they're completely irrelevant. Like the whole thing about who is Snoke? Who is Snoke? Well, we're going to kill him, so who gives a shit? Right? And that's the thing also, is like there was this big thing about Rey's, who's Rey's parents. It was like the biggest thing that we talked about all through the next year, going into this movie. Rey's parents, Kenobi's, you know, some sort of Force sensitive Imperial family, somehow the lost sister. Like there was like that relationship with Han Solo. Like they knew each other. Like they had an instant bond. You thought there's got to be some sort of connection. There's got to be some sort of reason why Luke's lightsaber was calling for her. And then it's like, your parents were nothing. You came from nothing. You had no part in this story. You're just some random person who has the Force. I mean, and the thing is, like, you know, like I can understand. Random people can having the Force, but like having such a strong Force character, someone who is just like, you know, already somewhat badass in the Force, without even like trying, thinks deserves a bit more nuance, a bit more importance to the character. just then, you know, your mom and dad were junkies, and they sold you to get a hit, and they're buried in a pauper's grave on Jakku. You know, Rey from nowhere, Rey from nothing. I mean, I guess in a way, if they spelled her name R-E-I and used the appropriate Japanese character, but then again, you know, because they're, you know, like the character Rey from Neon Genesis Evangelion, though I guess they use a different, I think, kanji for Rey. But it's like a play on words, because Rey also means nothing or zero in Japanese. Maybe that was the intention, that she was a play on words for that, you know, that Rey, that zero, that she was literally from nothing, from, you know, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Can you trust what someone influenced by the dark side says about your past? Yes and no. I mean, Darth Vader was truthful when he told Luke that he was his father. So, you know, I mean, the best trickery is to use the truth against people. So, and so maybe it felt very anticlimactic. It felt like you wasted all those hours thinking and contemplating and perplexing over this whole question. And hold on, I got a phone call. Hello? Hey, what's up? Okay. So, let me call you right back. You call just to call me right back. That is funny. I don't get it. Whatever, they'll call back. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, talk about anticlimactic, right? So yeah, I mean, and then the whole thing, like, we were also agonizing about Snoke, and what's Snoke gonna do, and who is Snoke, and where does he place in all this, and what's his backstory? And then it's like we learn nothing. Like, we learn nothing about Snoke, and then he just died. He's dead. He doesn't even do anything except use some badass force powers to whip, you know, people around the room. But that's it. That's it. Oh, I can read his thoughts. He's turning his blade, and he's going to cut Rey. Oh, shit. He cut me. I mean, talk about going out like a bitch too, right? And then you know, all this talk about, okay, so we finally, at the end, this monumental ending where she's standing in front of Luke, and Luke takes the hood off, and she hands out the lightsaber, and he's got this bewildered look on his face, and then the movie ends, and we're like, okay, what is Luke going to do? We're going to see Luke. He's going to, like, teach her the ways of the Force. It's going to be awesome. Luke is going to be, you know, doing all this badass stuff. It's going to be sweet. So we're going to get Luke versus Snoke. It's going to be battle for Kylo Ren's soul. And what happens? Literally, what happens is exactly what happens in the movie. There's, you know, you got to give Johnson some credit, the director and writer, because he basically foreshadowed what he was doing to all of your expectations, to everything that happened in The Force Awakens. When Luke grabs the lightsaber and then just chucks it behind him and then walks away. Because that's exactly what he did to Star Wars. That's exactly what he did to Star Wars. He's like, this is your expectations, this is your wants, this is your dreams, this is your hope for this movie. This is everything that you want in this movie. fuck you. Now I'm gonna do what I want, and this is my story, and this is how I'm gonna do it. So in a way, yes, he was brilliant in the fact that all our expectations, and then when he did that, everyone, I kid you not, there was a collective gasp. It wasn't like laughter. It was like a, what the hell just happened? And then in that moment, we all should have known, and I think some of us did know, and I think maybe all of us knew in the back of our mind, that this movie, like in the preview where Luke says, this isn't going to go the way you think it will go. You're right. It didn't go the way we think it was going to go. We thought it was going to go. And our expectations were tossed out the window. And yeah, it's his movie, and it's entertaining, and there are some great parts in the movie, but there are also some really bad parts, and ultimately disappointing, with wasted characters, wasted plot lines, answers to questions that felt like they were just ignoring your question to begin with. Or like they didn't even want to put any effort to actually make an interesting answer to those questions. Instead, it's like, we'll just, whatever questions you had, fuck you, your question's gone, whatever, this is the movie. Here are your answers, bam, be done with it, stop asking questions. And I can see why there's backlash. I can see why there's anger. And I can see why there are people who think that the whole thing is ruined. Hold on, got the call again. Hello? What's up? Well, I'm in the middle of a stream. Yeah. Well, of course you didn't. You never know that. Yeah, I'm talking about Star Wars. So it's been a long one. There's a lot of disappointment to talk about. Well, you can watch the video. It's like, so far it's about an hour and a half long. Well, it's a stream. There's been questions and there's been interruptions. There's been interruptions. Anyways, I don't know. Yeah. Well, that's because you don't have notifications turned on. No, I have my phone out so that I can see if someone's calling, though it still doesn't ring anymore. Whatever. Yeah. Right. Oh, man. She wants me to watch her kid. And I do, like, she was doing Christmas shopping last night. And then she's like, I still have more Christmas shopping to do. You know what? That's not my fault that you didn't get it all done last night. I try to have a life, but I don't have a life. Oh man. Oh man. Like, my goodness. Oh my god. Anyways, but what he wants to do has and will have nothing to do with The Force Awakens or Episode 9. Well, yeah, I mean, he wants that separate trilogy. But, you know, for him to do that, he didn't have to, like, destroy. I mean, what's going to happen? Are they going to go back and they're going to retcon this and call this some sort of, like, side story? Are they gonna like say that this is sort of like some sort of alternate universe? You know, kind of like how, you know, Marvel has like their regular universe, and then they have like the Ultimate Universe, and they have like, I mean, are they gonna try to do something like that? Are they going to have Luke Skywalker like at the beginning of Episode 9, like wake up and it was all like a premonition he had in the Force with Rey, and then he's going to be like, oh, wait, okay, I fucked up. I did something wrong. Now let's get on. And all Episode 8 is going to be is like some bad dream sequence. I don't know. But the problem is, Episode 9 and Episode 7 have to be part of the story. And to disregard it so blatantly, just like we're just going to use the characters that I want, and we're going to kill off everyone that I don't want, and then we're going to have, Princess Leia, General Leia, Admiral Leia, whatever, like, force fly through space and not die in the cold nothingness of space, or literally come back to life and fly, and it's like, and all like the mythos about the one bringing balance to the Force, and the importance of the Skywalker bloodline, all of that seems to have just been disregarded, and it just seemed like that there was a mess going on, where the director wanted to separate everything so much from the old stories that he disrespected the old stories in a lot of people's minds. In a lot of people's minds, he basically spat on the story of Star Wars and said, fuck your story, this is what I want from it now. And that's you can admire what he's done, you can admire the gumption, the risk, you can admire the chances that he took, you can understand the vision, but in the end, it showed a lack of respect for the source material. It showed a lack of respect for the source material, for understanding the mythos, understanding the fan base, and getting back to what I think I was originally going to say, like the parallels between Empire and The Last Jedi, is that at the end of Empire, the Empire was winning. Han Solo was frozen. He was gone. He was lost. Luke got his ass handed to himself by Darth Vader. He knows he's his son. Ben Kenobi somewhat betrayed him and lied to him. He lost his hand. The rebel fleet is on the run, scattered about. It was dark. It was depressing. It was, what are the rebels going to do now? How are they going to get back Han? How's Luke going to take this? The Empire now is emboldened. What's going to go on? And it was dark, and it was deep, and it was not a happy ending. And we're like, whoa, okay, can't wait till the next one, because we got to see how they resolve all this conflict. The end of this one is like freaking gumdrop happy stuff. Oh, the rebels escape, going to the Outer Rim, getting their, regrouping. The First Order seems to be in shambles. They have no leader, or the leader that they do have is like an emo guy who's so darn conflicted that you don't even know if he's going to be the supreme leader anymore, or whim, Rey will say something and he will join her. You've got like the whole thing about like the farm kid, using the Force with the broom and like looking up and like, and having the decoder ring with the rebel symbol, like, it's the birth of the new rebellion. It's like, it's such a gooey, sweet Hollywood-esque ending with the Last Jedi. Like, oh, look at that, you know, Luke Skywalker's sacrifice by, you know, the legendary, you know, step in front of all the AT-ATs and getting shot at and facing down Kylo Ren, you know, and stuff like that. Like that whole thing, looking at the shooting star or the ship going hyperspace, just, it was so mushy and so opposite of the ending of Empire, where you're like that's like the end. Really, it was like the end of this. It was like literally like, this is the end of the entire story arc right here. It's just like whatever happens after this seems to be, who cares? Everyone that you care about is pretty much gone. The new characters are fine, but you really don't have the same attachment as you did to those other characters. And so you end up with this hollow feeling that the story is over. So you contrast that with Empire. The story was intriguing. We had these plot points. We needed to know what was going to happen. How are they going to do about Han? Are they going to go rescue Han? What's going to happen with Luke? How is this going to affect him? You know, knowing he's his father, having his hand cut off. How is this going to affect, you know, the relationship between Han, Leia, and Luke? And how is the rebellion going to regroup after the Empire basically kicks their ass? So in Episode 9, I want the villains to win. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we're going to be a trilogy, or if we're just going to have like a long line of stories, I mean, they almost need like Episode 9 to dash, you know, the hopes of the actual characters. I mean, maybe in a way, Episode 8 was to dash the hopes of the fan base, but Episode 9, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to look to. There is no conflict. You know, the only thing that you really have a question of is, how are they going to kill Leia? That's all you know, or how they're going to handle Leia. That's basically the only thing you can think of that's even intriguing about Episode 9, and that's not any. It has nothing to do with the narrative. That has everything to do with what's happened in real life. I don't know. Maybe they've got some spectacular thing, and all this stuff is going to happen. And Han's gonna pop up, and Luke is gonna pop up, and it's all gonna be like some like miraculous stuff happening. I don't know. But it's like the intriguing aspects of this storyline have been obliterated by this movie. Rey's past, her place in this, her purpose, her you know, answered and unsatisfactorily answered. Snoke, who is he? What was his purpose? What was he doing? Why? What was his motivation? How did he come to be? What's going on? We got no answer, and he's dead. So who cares? It's not important anymore. And we don't even have like this sort of cliffhanger about what's the rebellion going to do. No, we've got the rebellion. The rebellion's going to grow from the grassroots, where the spark and the flame is now going to burn. So we don't even have that hanging thing anymore. In fact, the only really intriguing thing is, what's the First Order going to do? I mean, what's going to happen with them? Is there going to be a power struggle between Kylo and, oh God, I can never remember this damn guy's name. I mean, or, you know... And that in itself is not as interesting. So we're left scratching our head, and the momentum that Star Wars had. I mean, there was huge momentum going into The Last Jedi, and all this intriguing stuff from The Last Jedi. Luke, we were finally going to have Luke, and Luke was going to do stuff. So what was Luke going to do? What was his interactions with Rey? How was the reunion with Rey, or with Luke and Leia? And honestly, there was no reunion with Luke and Leia. And it was like, Like, so many wasted characters. Like, they wasted Luke. They wasted Snoke. They wasted Phasma. What is left? What is left to hold on to? I mean, in a way, Rey had very little to do outside of the whole Kylo Ren Snoke thing. After that, I mean, okay, she opened the door for the rebellion, but she was like, and she's not a pilot. She's just a foot soldier. I mean, yeah, she learned how. I mean, she could fly the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, it's, you know, do the gunner, but she wasn't like, you know, into the X-wing and things like that. So I mean, what does she have to do except what, to fight Kylo Ren again? I just don't know. The whole thing is just, it feels like such a waste, a squandered opportunity. And that's kind of like one of the most like frustrating things about this, is like, because there's a good movie in there. There's a good movie. There's a good entertaining movie. And they did so much stuff to just kill its momentum. And now, like 9, they'd have to do something spectacular, which is really, really, really interesting. Usually, when you're talking about trilogies, the middle one is supposed to be like, is oftentimes kind of like, you know, something special. Like Empire Strikes Back was something special. Godfather 2 was something special. Maybe like The Dark Knight was something special. But maybe that, you know, maybe that's sort of a recent thing, because, you know, Revenge of the Sith was the best of the prequels, and that was the third one. So maybe, I mean, it will be a sad thing if we go look back and say that The Force Awakens was the best of the last of the sequel trilogies, I guess. That would be a sad thing, which means they totally fumbled the ball going on. But who knows? I mean, they could do something spectacular with 9 and save everything. And it's possible. The problem is, I don't know if the groundwork is there anymore. Unless they've got to do a lot of jumps. A lot of plot jumping. A lot of, you know, leaps. Logical leaps to get to something spectacular. But in the end, it's like, what's left to do? And how are they going to do it? Because I don't know if there's anything really interesting anymore. I mean, there's no good villain you want to root against, because you want to root for Kylo to come back to the light side. And, you know, unfortunately, they split Han Solo's character up into multiple people, Poe Dameron and Finn. They're going to split him into multiple people, so you don't have like a full character yet. And Rey, let's be honest, Rey's character is no longer interesting. Because she has no past. Her backstory is not even, like, I mean, let's look at Luke Skywalker. He was an ordinary farm boy until you found out that he was Force sensitive. Then he was like, okay, so he's like this New Hope that was coming from like Hicksville. Fine, that's great. And then you find out that, oh man, he is the son of the famous Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. Well, actually, you didn't know about you found out he was the son of Anakin Skywalker, famous Jedi, right in the first in the first movie. So it's like you're like, oh wow, now he's even more interesting. Before he was like this nobody farm boy, okay, and he's got he's going to learn the ways of the Jedi, but at that point the most interesting person is Obi-Wan, and then you find out that he's the son. Then so he's got this latent power that's from his genealogy and his line, and then all of a sudden it's like, what do we he's automatically interesting. Rey was interesting because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know. We had all this speculation. Now we know that she's nothing except a powerful Force user. But what's interesting about her then at that point? I mean, we don't really get any, like, she's got a connection with Kylo, but what is that connection? Is it love? Is it like brother-sisterly love? Is it, she's got a connection with Finn, but in the end, I mean, what is compelling about Rey now? What is she fighting to overcome now? She's not, Luke had to overcome his father's legacy. Rey, what does she have to overcome? I mean, she's already overcome, like, if she was nothing and not important, she's already overcome that. She's important and she's something. So what is her struggle? Right? Yeah, she's one of the most powerful Force users, but everyone has something interesting about them other than, being just a powerful Force user. I mean, Snoke was a powerful Force user too, but now everything that we wanted to know about him, and he's still more interesting than Rey because he's done something, and we still have the mystery of why was he doing what he was, how did he come into power and things like that. But with Rey, okay, she's a powerful Force user. But she doesn't have nearly any kind of like character development. Like you go to the Clone Wars and you've got what's it Ashoka, I think is her name, Anakin's Padawan. She has a story, she has a place she came from, she has goals that she wants, she has ambitions, she has relationships with people, she's rounded, and then she deals with the betrayal of having her master turn to the dark side, and it's like yeah, but I mean, let's face it, I don't know if you brother or sister thing like that, even like, you walk in on your sibling and they're half naked, you're just not looking, you're like, hey, put a shirt on, and it doesn't, male or female, you're like, could you put a shirt on? I don't want to look at that. So I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know. I don't see in like love attraction there. I don't know. It's because then it's like it's this. I don't know where they build the I don't know how they build that relationship. I don't know. I just see, and that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff there that you just have to like just kind of like imply or whatever, not imply, like, I don't know. It's the Rey Kylo relationship is interesting because you're not quite sure what it is, and maybe that's the biggest thing that you can look forward to. Episode 9 is what their relationship will become, what they'll do with it. You know, whether it is, you know, brotherly, sisterly type of a thing, or more than that, I don't know. But still, is that all Rey has? I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, literally, by the end of A New Hope, Luke Skywalker is infinitely more interesting of a character than Rey is after 2 movies. Because Luke has all this stuff. He was a farm boy from nothing, and all of a sudden he is the son of a heroic Jedi master. He's starting to learn the ways of the Force. He is thrown into this galactic conflict of good versus evil. His mentor, his teacher has died. He is all of a sudden alone. Yet he's not alone now because he's got friends. He's got Leia. He's got Han. But he's in this flux. He's in over his head, and he's learning as he goes. And he's not perfect to begin with, and he struggles his way. So, like, through Empire, he struggles his way, learning from the Master Yoda, fighting his emotions, being torn by his duty as a Jedi and his duty towards his friends and the rebellion, and ultimately has to make a decision, and he decides, and then he comes face to face with the truth about him and his lineage and Darth Vader, and the fact that the Jedi kind of lie, kind of manipulate, kind of not tell him the whole story. And then he's got to overcome that. He's got to overcome the loss. He's got to overcome the realization of where he comes from, what his lineage is, and he goes through and he fights for what he believes in, fights for the good inside of his father, the good that's inside of his family, against an evil that is evil at its core, and comes out victorious, redeems his father, saves his father's soul, in the end, saving the rebellion, saving the galaxy, and then it all is for naught because of this new trilogy. It's all for naught. But yet, the character is so dang interesting. And then you get Rey, who she came from nothing, but picks up a lightsaber and is immediately beating someone who's got years of training from the Master Jedi and the Master of Evil. Years of training for both of them, and she can pick it up and beat him. She could force mind change people, mind control people. She can fly a plane or fly the Millennium Falcon without any effort. She just doesn't have anything interesting now in her backstory. Like, the only thing that really we held on to was, who is she? And where did she come from? And now that we know she's nothing and came from nowhere, she's going to have to do something now far more interesting than she's done in the last couple movies. I don't know. Anyways, oh my God, it's almost been 2 hours. Holy crap. See, there's a lot to talk about in this movie. Oh my God. Or Star Wars in general. It's crazy. It's now I think that scene, where, Kylo and Rey were talking, I think that scene would have worked a lot better if Rey's shirt was off. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But I guess I don't know. Like, it's a tough one. It's a tough movie because, like I said, there's quite a bit of things I like about the movie. There's quite a bit of things I don't like about the movie. And yes, this probably was overwhelmingly negative. I mean, I like the movie. It was entertaining. It was fun. But in the end, there was just too much things that just didn't click with me. That I didn't agree with, that I didn't like, that I didn't want to have happen. I mean, I can understand, I can get what they were going for in certain aspects of the movie, but overall, I just wish they would have done things differently. I do. I really wish that we could go back in time and just change things here and there. Because it does feel like it's over. It's sad. It feels sad because it feels like done. It's done. It's the end. So I don't know. It's right now this discussion is only about half hour from being the length of the entire movie. Could probably just do a movie commentary. Just go through the movie and then just commentate everything that goes on. I mean, that would be cool if I wasn't, copywritten up the ass for it. But, I mean, that could be transformative. I mean, or it could be, it's definitely critical. It's like a critique. It's a commentary. So, I mean, it should fall under fair use. But, yes, it is the whole movie. I mean, besides me just talking through it. I want to see how that... I don't know. It's just, I mean, leaving the theater, I'm just disappointed. Disappointed. Because I really wanted things to go a different way. I really wanted things to turn out differently. And it wasn't. But there's still hope for that hot Kylo Ren Rey sex scene where he gets to use his lightsaber in a unique way. I mean, it's got multiple. Come on, I can't get through a stream without a little bit of sexual innuendo stuff. But yeah, do it without showing any of the movie, just you watching it. I mean, that's the thing is, like, then you're just watching me watch a movie and talking. I mean, I guess it's kind of like this. You're just watching me talk. I guess. I don't know. It's like one of those things where, it's like you get the movie and you sync it up with my start time, and then you, like, start. And then, you have the commentary and stuff like that. I mean, it's that's the true light and dark coming together. If they do it right, they'll come together. Oh, man. Of course, you already knew that fanfic was around. There's probably, like, drawings all over the internet about that. So, especially the lightsaber thing, I'm sure there's, the Force will be with you always. I was like, just reminds me of that robot chicken. Like Luke Skywalker just talks to Ryan like Kylo Ren. It's like, you kill me, I'm just gonna like annoy you for the rest of your life, like Force Ghost Jar Jar did to Darth Vader in that Robot Chicken episode. Oh, look at me so glowy! Oh, Annie, look at me so glowy! We can be friends forever! Oh, God. What have I done? Oh, gee. Maybe that's it. Episode 9 is just going to be a comedy. And it's going to be the odd couple. It's going to be Kylo Ren waking up in the morning, and there's Luke, like, hey, what's up? So I just have myself a forced coffee. Forced coffee, good to the last drop. So what's on the agenda today? You got a star system you got to quash or crush. You got some sort of rebellion you got to, like, put down. What you having for breakfast? Oatmeal again. I think maybe you have a little bit too much fiber in your diet. Let's get some like bacon, get some meat, get some protein. You got to get some meat on those bones. You look a little. I guess in that one scene your shirt was off. I guess you had like a little bit of. But we need a little more bulk. Get some Arnold going on there. I don't know. I do not know, but yeah. But I think it's time to end this. It's been a couple hours of me ranting and raving about Star Wars. I'm afraid that I probably offended Jim the Thug by not answering his question, even though the thing was like the point of this whole thing was to talk about Star Wars, but, he had that question about, would you rather be in a neo-Nazi gang that kills people who are not white, or a cop trying to stop bad racist cops, but you have to stop them by doing illegal things? Neither. I guess I'd be the cop trying to stop bad racist cops. I think there's nothing about the first one that is appealing in any way. That's like, Luke's famous line. It's amazing that everything in that sentence you said is wrong. Or, paraphrasing what Luke says, but, it's amazing that everything you said in there was wrong. And everything in that first thing was wrong. And the thing is, like, to stop them by doing illegal things. I guess it depends on what illegal things I have to do to stop them. If you mean killing them, I think you can justify that if they're trying to kill someone else, killing them to stop them from killing. I should be answering his question. He's not even here. He's not even here, or he's here, but he was just been listening. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I do have to go. Unfortunately, it is time. I've exhausted everything that I have to say, at least everything I can remember that I have to say about The Last Jedi, the last Star Wars movie. If I had to objective score it, I would probably give it like a 3.2 out of 5 or a 3.25 out of 5 objectively, but as a Star Wars fan, I've got to give it like a 2 out of 5. Just so disappointing. Just so disappointing. Just so disappointing. I just didn't want them to do the things that they did, so I don't know. So, am I going to stream next week? See, that's the thing, is like I never know if I'm going to stream or not. Like last week I was going to start the Thursday streams, and then I got a call, and I had to do something, something for my sister-in-law. Once again, unfortunately, they called before I started the stream, so I had to do that, and then I was going to do a Friday stream last week, and then I got a call before the stream started. So there's kind of a reason why I started early this time. I was going to do a stream yesterday, but I didn't feel like it. I kind of had like a cold for the last couple days. I took some medication for it, and I just and also I kind of needed to like decompress from Star Wars. I watched Star Wars yesterday, so I didn't want to do a stream because I was kind of like I was going to talk about non-Star Wars thing, but then it's like I would probably end up talking about it. I wanted to wait. So whether or not I'm going to stream next week, I'm going to try to stream on Thursday. That's the plan. That's the plan as of right now. Whether or not it's going to actually happen, it depends on things that may be beyond my control. I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But, I mean, that's the plan. My plan is to stream every week, but it just doesn't always work out sometimes. And plus the fact is sometimes I feel like I'm tired, or I'm busy doing something else, or I want to do something else. So I'm like, I don't want to force myself to stream when I don't want to stream, because I don't know if I'll give a good performance then. If I'm not like really into it, I don't know. It's one of those things I just don't know. I got to think about. So we'll see how I feel. We'll see how it is. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely planned. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it. I gotta finish my laundry. It's laundry day. I gotta finish my laundry. I gotta call her back and tell her that I can't watch her kid because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's like it's almost supper time. It's like, oh, gee, gotta work tomorrow. I just don't want. I don't want to have to put up with it. Especially go to her house, even though it's across the street. I just you're comfortable in your own place, right? Plus, you got your your laundry clothes on there. Look at this. Look at this. They got like a, I don't know if you can even see this. Like see, look. I'm in my laundry place. It's like it's all tore up. It's all bad. It's all like torn. I don't know if you can see that. Like I put my hand into this hole here. So it's all like, it's not my Sunday best. I'm a professional streamer. At least I'm wearing pants. At least like some people that I know on YouTube, they film from this, they're like in their underwear or even worse, so, okay, so, I'm definitely leisure right now. Anyways, I'd like to thank everyone who stopped by the stream to say hi, to listen to me rant, and that's, including you, Grant Matsuda, Jim the Thug, ever so briefly, Dragon Ball Z, Skinny Gamer, the one German guy, or girl, I don't know, Marius Barth, something about a stolen picture. So I don't know if he's like talking about like I'm using like, I don't know if like he recognized like that's his picture or his friend's picture, but he says it's okay. I mean like I'm not like saying any of this stuff is mine. I'm just kind of using it as a backdrop so that you're not just staring at blank, or you're just not just staring at me. But I don't know. It's not like I'm doing this for like any money or anything. And this, anyways, I don't know. Whatever. Who knows? But thanks everyone for showing up, listening. Thanks everyone who watches this afterwards. Tell me what you think about The Last Jedi. Leave a comment in the comment section. As if anyone who watches this after the fact is actually going to be here this far into it, but I don't know. I'm curious to hear what everyone else thought about this movie. I mean, I've seen a lot of reviews. I've seen a lot of posts, comments, and things like that about this movie. So I kind of have an idea, like, you know, what that general consensus is. But I still love to hear from you guys, hear what you think, and then you know what? I think I'm going to end it. Have a good evening, everybody. Have a good week. Have a Merry Christmas. And if for some reason I can't see you before New Year's, have a Happy New Year. Hopefully next year will be awesome. And hopefully you get everything you want for Christmas. And if you don't, at least hopefully you have a good time. Spend some time with your friends and family. Some time off of work. And I will see you guys later. Stay sexy, internet, and may the Force be with you and not disappoint you. Okay. Goodbye, everyone.